The 2024 election cycle was probably one of the most turbulent in American history. Between Biden dropping out and Harris jumping in, and Trump's near assassination, it's been a pretty eventful cycle. However, regardless of how you feel about it, the cycle is now over, and Trump will be sitting in the White House come January. Today on Well Made Simple, we're going to take a look as to how this happened and why Kamala failed to get the seat. Hey guys, Bill here. Welcome back to another episode, and today we are talking about the US presidential elections results. So as of right now, Donald Trump is the next president. That has been decided. Only two states, I think it's Arizona and Nevada, still have to turn in their votes and get secured. But he has over 270 electorals. He is in. So what happened for the Harris campaign this time? Well, I'm going to talk about three reasons that I think the Harris campaign kind of dropped the ball and why Trump won the way he did. Now, I'm going to emphasize that some of this is my own personal experiences that I've seen throughout this election cycle, but a lot of it is also data that I have gathered from different sources that kind of back up some of these experiences. I do want to emphasize that I am not putting my political opinion into this. This is simply what I've seen and me relaying it to you personally, and then data that I have found. So once again, no election bias whatsoever, as much as I can do so. And if you think that I messed up on that, please let me know in the comments below. I always want to make sure this is good quality, and I want to make sure that I'm respecting everyone's views on this. So the first thing I want to talk about is going to be overall the kind of energy behind both campaigns. Donald Trump is a charisma magnet. He is able to just radiate any sort of energy he needs to get a crowd excited and ready to rock and roll. And because of that, he was able to energize the voter base for the Republican Party way crazier than the Democrats were able to. Kamala Harris does have some charisma, but compared to Donald Trump, it really wasn't enough to match. This meant that by default, the Democratic voter base was not going to be as energized. And for those of you saying, well, Bill, that's not really fair just to say one character trait defines the election, and I'm not saying that. But getting voters to the poll booths by energizing them is absolutely something that probably helped Trump in this campaign. Donald Trump's rallies, known pretty much through anywhere you go, are massive. Tens of thousands of people show up. There are people usually lining the streets into the rallies, never mind the rallies themselves. Kamala Harris did not have anywhere near this fanfare, and that's simply because she didn't have the same level of energy or charisma as Trump. And that's just seen by the amount of people who show up to these rallies that both of them did. So that's the first one. They didn't energize the base enough. Second issue is they didn't focus on the key issues. The main thing that the Harris campaign focused on was Donald Trump, his record, and overall him as an individual. This worked really well during the Biden campaign in 2020, and I think it's a decent chunk of why Biden won that race. But this time around, things were different. First off, they were the incumbent party. Second off, it was the middle of the COVID pandemic. And third, and most importantly, a lot of people were fed up with the state of the American economy and the border. Those were two of the biggest issues on the ticket, and they didn't really address them a whole lot. The issues that they did address, they addressed well, but I don't think they addressed them to the point where the American people felt satisfied with the answers. Kamala Harris would often dodge the questions or give kind of muddled answers, even on points like Ukraine and Israel, simply saying that she would support them and not really what she would do any further. Donald Trump gave coherent answers when it came to these things. Regardless of whether you like him or not, he gave an answer. Whether it was a full, complete answer or a Donald Trump answer, doesn't matter. He still gave an answer. The third and final issue I think the Harris campaign really dropped the ball on was letting us know Kamala. Good example of this. When we think of these two individuals being Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, which one do you have a clearer image of your head in terms of their character? It's probably going to be Donald Trump because he doesn't hide anything. He presents himself fully, nothing held back, and you know Trump because of that. Kamala never really did that. A lot of what she did seemed staged, and even more of what she did seemed kind of forced to fit the narrative of the party. Now, whether that's by her choice or she was forced to do so, completely unknown, but a lot of it felt disingenuous because of that. When you're electing someone to sit in the White House, yes, you are concerned about their policies. Yes, you want to make sure they have the charisma, but ultimately you need to know the person sitting in the seat. If you don't know who's going to be taking the chair of the most powerful person in this country, people are a little bit uncomfortable voting for them. And I definitely think that hurt Kamala during this entire election process. I'm aware she didn't have as much time as Trump to get out on the trail and kind of introduce herself, but she definitely had the opportunity to go on a lot of different media platforms and basically didn't. For whatever reason, once again, whether it was her choice or the Democratic Party, I don't know. But ultimately, I think Kamala not going out there and making herself known as an individual, not just as a candidate, hurt the Harris campaign tremendously. So, to recap, charisma, the issues, and the individual, I think, were the three main things that kind of sunk the Harris campaign in this election. However, that's just my opinion, and that's just what I've kind of seen. What do you guys think? Do you 100% agree with me and say, Bill, you are 100% in the right on this? Or do you say, Bill, this is the dumbest thing you ever made. You absolutely need to go back to only making military and technology stuff and not making anything political? Up to you guys. I want to hear in the comments. And I want this to be an actual discussion because there's a lot of discussion on why Harris lost right now. And there's a bunch of different ideas, a bunch of different suggestions. And I think it would be helpful for the Democrats to kind of realize why they lost this, not just so they can go ahead and change things, but so they can address the concerns of the American people with the current party. So, with that being said, I will see you guys on Monday for our 5th generation fighter video. Finally, I apologize for all the delays we've had with that, but we will get it done. But with all that being said, I will see you guys on Monday. Enjoy your weekend.